I've learned a lot from this class. Mostly I think I learned to appreciate poetry a lot more. I've always liked to read it, but writing it I kind of stopped and haven't done it in forever, so here you go. This is called Even If Only for a Little. Spring is for the last day of school, the last day of high school. Days of warmth and perpetual delight are ahead of us. No fears about where we'll be this time next year. Spring is when the worries of the past and future are pushed to the rear. Summer is for fun and friendships, the nonpareil time of the year. Parties run rampant as we do, and the best days are always today. We don't recall last year we complained of burns and drone. Summers when we grasp we're not alone. Fall is for brave new days, the start of a new world. Stark realizations encounter us when we see how different this will be. The days are brown and biting, and we crave our letters from home. Fall is when we soak up the chill, pretending we're not homesick and on our own. Winters for blankets and beauty, blankets to warm, blankets to freeze. The first meal becomes an omen, a reminder to endure. We sit by the window, imagining we can count each flake. Winter is when we feel the cold, seeping to our bones, opaque.
Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Watson, and I have a short story to share today. It's probably the only thing I put 100% into, and I was really happy with how it came out. It's called Cage. I sat as I always did, the metal bars reaching above my head as they had for many days. The days grew into weeks, the weeks into months. As I sat, stood, paced. I awaited the next storm. I resided in the forest most of the time, locked away within myself, as outside forces shook my refuge. For some time, I gave into the patterns of relentless attacks and constant chaos. Then one day, shafts of sunlight broke through the rooftop of trees, and a figure appeared in a clearing that had always been there. Who are you? I thought as he came closer. He was tall and distracted at first. Was he an angel? No, I realized. He seemed too guarded. He was like me, lost in this place. But what brought him here? He looked down at me, and I noticed a slight change in him as his eyes softened. I remember all the times after that he came to visit me. We would sit and talk as if we had met years ago. He approached my cage one day, seeming upset. When I asked him why, he told me he was tired of making the same mistakes and having people on his case all the time. I asked him what mistakes, but he changed the subject. Why are you in that cage, he asked me. Can't you get out? No, I mean, yes, I think so, but I don't know when to leave, if that makes sense. No, not exactly. The key is hanging in your reach. Why don't you grab it? I'm not ready to leave. A puzzled look came across his face. And anyhow, I don't deserve to. Why not? I hesitated. There were times when I would leave my cage for a while, to take a walk or sit in the trees, but before long I would suddenly find myself confined once again in the cold metal bars. I'm not good enough to be anywhere but here. It's better if I stay, I said quietly. He stood there for a minute looking down at me as I sat with my arms around my knees. Why can't you see what everyone else does? He asked as he sat down next to the cage. I'm afraid of what they see, I guess. Listen, he started as he turned to face me. Stop caring. You spend so much time worrying and listening to the wrong voice. I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing? I feel like I annoy you. I looked down to avoid his eyes. Don't be sorry. I want you to always tell me these things. I want you to get better. He stood up and I watched him walk into the clearing, not long after the sun hid once again. I stood and walked in wide circles as thought came down to weigh on me. Then I looked up at the sky through the cage bars. The darkest clouds I'd ever seen started drifting menacingly overhead, black and blue like the color of bruises, sickly green and ash gray. At the first explosion of thunder, I felt my heart rate skyrocket as if it wanted to leave my chest. Maybe it did. Why would it stay just to be hushed and stifled? My senses became overwhelmed. The cannon shots of thunder, the blinding flashes of lightning, while I sat in my metal cage. What had I done to myself? My bones shook, my heart shivered. How much more could it take? A sense of impending doom swelled into rage and rage into pain, the kind that isn't identifiable right away, the inexplicable kind that enters as a splinter and wounds like a bullet, irrational pain that shouldn't have been let in at all. 1,400 thoughts pounded from within that cage until a scream slammed into my throat. As I held it in, every muscle surrounding this monstrous scream tensed. Bars of the cage around me seemed to shrink while I became lightheaded. I gasped for air as the roiling clouds produced rain. Lightning struck all around, branches smacked the ground, twigs came at me like claws as the raging wind gusted. It won't get worse, I thought as I closed my eyes. The rain will stop. The rain did not stop. I tasted salt in my mouth and opened my eyes as the rain flooded my little shelter. The cage, it was closing in on me. Please, come back, I called to the friend I knew could help me. I need help. I admitted, okay. I choked on words as the water rose. He could not come this time. I collapsed in the cage as it floated in the rough waters. My forest was ash, nothing but storm-infested sea surrounded me for days, striking without warning. God, please help, I cried up to the angry clouds. You're the only one that can. I began to sink. I watched the clouds disappear as I entered my sea of emptiness. I saw nothing but water. I could no longer hold my breath with the relentless pounding of my heart. I saw nothing but darkness. I sat up in my cage. Trees lay all around me, broken and burned, an entire forest down with a blanket of dead leaves. Aching despair began to settle again, but then I saw a figure in the distance. He came from the same direction as before, the same clearing that used to be between the fairly healthy trees. He ran up to my cage and fell on his knees in front of it. Grabbing the bars, he looked at me and said, "It's time." I looked down for a few seconds and then looked back at his desperate face. "I know," I said, my throat raw. "You can't keep letting this happen. You can't go on like this. Please." His eyes pleaded with me more than words. I could go on, though, just a little longer. But I didn't want to anymore. I wanted more than anything to leave this place behind. I looked at the gold key hanging on a chain at the cage door. "Take it," he said. I reached my shaking hand to the door of the cage and picked up the key. It took a few minutes to steadily place the key in the lock and turn it. The lock clicked open, like the sound of a heavy gate being lifted. The door flew open and I stumbled to the ground. When I looked up, right before me was a red rose in full bloom. Among the ashes in the charcoal sky was a vibrant red and green sign of life. As I stood up, I felt wings unfold on my back. They were still stiff and wet from the storms. He went behind me and helped them come out all the way. My 6-foot wingspan of white feathers threaded with gold and silver caught the breeze as soon as they were expanded. He led me through the old clearing to an open valley. I looked back at him and he smiled. "Go." I took a running start and lifted off, weightless.
Okay, so my name is Mackenzie Lucas, and this was a poem I had during like an epiphany moment. I got lost on the way back to the dorm, and I just had all these ideas and I knew I needed to write them down. So when I got back, I just ran right outside and I was like, "I had an epiphany," and they were like, "Just go." So that's something nice you can do at writing a hand. And I apologize that my reading might be rough because I did some last minute editing and craziness. This is called "Fat Girls Can't Have Eating Disorders." I've heard that if you suck in your stomach enough, you'll eventually get abs. Or at least you'll look better in tight clothing. They tell me that a few weeks on the water diet, you know, consuming nothing but water, will eventually leave you looking like a superstar. A moment on the lips, forever on the hips, right? Nothing tastes better than skinny feels. No one will want me if I'm not a size 0. A 0. A total nothing. They ask me to waste away, to fit into their standards, or at least a nice pair of skinny jeans with total ease. Did you know that up to 46% of women in the media are portrayed as thin? Japan is one of the highest fashion capitals of the world and also has the most eating disorders. What a coincidence. I've heard many people say, "I want to be a model, but I'm not 5'7", or 0, or possibly beautiful." Did you know that some stores refuse to sell anything considered to be a large? I don't want ugly people in my store. They can't wear my product. It's disgusting. Bad advertising. The amount of inspirational shirts I've seen is undeniably astounding. Big, bold letters berate me. Eat less. Am I supposed to keep that out of my mind? Should I ignore it all? I want to be beautiful on the outside too, you know. Little girls dream of being princesses. I wanted to be Ariel. Long flowing hair, tiny waist, and practically no clothes. Wait, what are we teaching our children again? Right, someday my prince will come, if I look like her. So all I have to do is suck it up and look like her. That's a lot harder than you would think. Sure, healthy girls are nice, but you'd rather have a perfect woman. Eye candy, a trophy you can hang on your arm. I can't help but hate the media that told me I was nothing more than a definition. Another person to be filed away, to be forgotten under a tab that reads imperfect. Think of how many little girls want to be teeny tiny princesses. How many girls are told to balance eating a meal with immediately working it off? How many girls just want to look like that movie star? Fit into an itsy bitsy bikini and flaunt it? Shrink until there's nothing left. If only someone would tell them, you don't have to be a Victoria's Secret angel or live in the Playboy mansion. For that matter, you boys don't have to be captain of the sports team or the next Brad Pitt. If you want to be a model, then model yourself every day. Show the world how beautiful you really are. Because I love the way your eyes light up when you're excited. I love the smile you have, the genuine one. The one that you save for those special occasions when you're actually happy. Because there's so much more to smile about than standing on a scale and weighing nothing, than accepting the crown at homecoming, than being stuffed into a standard, filed away, and labeled perfect. Thank you.
I'm Amy Hudson, and I have a poem, and it's short, and it's not like deep or like it doesn't resound with your soul very well. It's just grimy and stuff. So, shoot, it doesn't have a title. Okay. A bright bumblebee wandered curiously through a pale blue sky. He hummed and he bumbled and suddenly stumbled upon something awry. So the bee took note and sat there afloat with a very long tail that kept it tied so it couldn't glide away into the air. And so the thing sat incredibly fat, quite a ponderous thing, like a whale in the sky. How could it fly without even a wing? The bee approached slow and called out hello. Good sir, you stuck to the limb of this tree. Please talk to me. And it seemed that he was in luck. With fear in its tone, it cried, leave me alone. Really, I've done nothing wrong. I don't need your aid, it said, still afraid. Now please just move along. Now look and see, replied the bee. And really not a bad fellow. I waltzed with the flowers for hours and hours. I really am quite mellow. And the round thing in the sky whimpered out a reply. Please, I don't joke. You can't be near me. It's nothing personal. It's just, you're a bee. A little bit hurt, but mostly perplexed, the bee asked his friend what had it so vexed. You see, I'm a balloon, thin-skinned, filled with air. Wherever I go, I have to take care. If you're nice, if you're mellow, it means not a thing. You are a bee, and all bees can sting. Finally, then, the little bee understood, and he flew away like his friend told him he should. But he turned and he called out over his shoulder, I'm glad you are honest, I learned something new. Thank you, my friend, it was nice talking to you.
So, I'm Everly. Yes, I did break my foot at camp. I'm going to read one page of my short story, because the rest I'm trying to rewrite. So, it's called Scissors Are for Paper, Not Skin. So, hope you like it. I hope the rumors weren't true, well, what my friends told me before this all started. People warned me about this with him. He hasn't been acting himself lately, and everyone, even me, noticed. I'm scared that he will severely hurt himself. I have the right to worry since we've been best friends for so long. I don't want to lose him, but I feel that I already have. He has been really distant lately. It was a little disconcerting. Rumors are really hard to believe, so there was only one approach to this. I had to confront him about it. In the morning before classes near the end of the year, I was wandering the 10th grade area, so far I haven't seen him. When I rounded the corner for the 4th time, I saw him at his locker. He wore dark colors, not his usual clothing choices, and a long-sleeve shirt in the unair-conditioned building. during a hot spring day. He wouldn't make eye contact with anyone. "Jackson," I yelled. He hung his head lower and turned around slowly. I stormed over to him. "Let me explain," he said once I got to him. Crossed my arms over my chest. "I'm listening," started to tap my foot. "Not here." He looked around us to find people staring. I led the way to the empty hallway that was never occupied in the morning. He followed close behind. After we got there, he looked around to make sure we were alone. He sat on the ground after a couple of minutes. I slowly made my way to the ground next to him. We were in the silence of the abandoned hall. I wanted to say something but stopped myself, then I thought better of it. "We haven't talked for the longest time. It's odd. We are best friends. Why aren't we now?" I said. He sighed. "It's a little complicated," he said slowly. "Uncomplicated, then." I snapped, not trying to be mean. "I would rather not," he shot back. This would have been the first fight for the longest time. We stopped and fell into the dreaded silence once again. He looked like he was thinking really hard about something that he wanted to say.
Hi, my name is Ethan Moser. Being here more than anything has reassured me that I have absolutely no idea what I want to do with my life. And I'm going to read like the last third of my short story because it takes like 10 minutes to read. But I'll give you like a little synopsis of the beginning so you're not completely lost. In the beginning, there's a teenage boy waiting in the park. He had agreed to meet this girl there, and he's not sure that he is in love with her, but he seems almost addicted to her personality. And when she does finally show up, it gets a little sci-fi. She attacks him, and her nails extend into claws. And then as she like pierces his coat and his skin with her claws, he passes out as she is walking away. And this is him waking up after passing out, would be the rest of the story. It is called Silver and Gold. The roar of an engine and the squealing of tires on pavement wakes me from my reprieve. I look to the parking lot, no more than a few meters from where I am slumped against the bare oak. The black sedan gleams like a marble in the moonlight. The door swings open. The man who steps out is tall, dressed all in black from head to toe, leather jacket, rough jeans, and polished shoes. His close-cropped hair is also black, all of this standing in stark contrast to the winter-pale complexion of his skin. The man walks around the hood of the car to the passenger door. In his movement, it is clear that while he is tall, he is not lanky. His pale arms and chest corded with tight, lean muscle. I cringe as he glares at me. He opens the door. I gasp. It's her. The white heel of her boot clicks loudly against the pavement. As she leans out of the car, the rest of her icy white appearance comes into full view. Her ivory hair is the last to exit the vehicle, almost silver under the moonlight. The two join hands and I want to yell, to warn the dark man of her menacing claws, but no words come. It's as if my voice is no longer my own. The clicking of pavement turns to the crunching of grass as the two reach the courtyard. My body jerks itself into a standing position, against my inner will as they approach. The two of them together is a peculiar sight, one all sharp angles and darkness, the other as pale and fragile as porcelain. It's almost like seeing heaven and hell walk the earth together, hand in hand, though which is hard to tell. How much, I hear my voice say, though I have no recollection of asking it to do so. The boy smirks, looking down at the gold watch clasped securely around my wrist. I want to clamp my hand over it, to protect the shining gold of the heirloom from these monsters. The watch shines like heavenly fire in the night. Against my personal will, I feel my arm lift from my coat pocket and across my torso, the fingers of my right hand lingering on the cool metal of the watch wrapped around my left. The clasp comes undone by my twitching fingers. Cold metal burns against the bare skin of my palm as I strip myself of the precious watch. I place it gently in the palm of the man in black, the heat generated by his skin thawing that of mine which had been iced over by the December air. With a wink of dark iris and thick lashes, the man strides away, leaving me alone with the alabaster princess, her hair flying in the breeze, white as a flag of surrender. She approaches me, her hand outstretched. I want to turn, to run from the claws that not so long ago pierced my skin and flesh, but I stand unmoving, resolute. When she reaches me, she shuts off my coat, the wind easily penetrating through my white shirt front, like being impaled by icicles. I look down at where her hand rests on my shoulder, where there had been scars and hot blood spilled from the wounds she had inflicted, but I see nothing but starched white shirt front, my blue vein work visible through the thin cotton. My eyes open wide as the girl's ivory hand reaches towards my face. I want to cringe. Her forefinger and thumb rest chillingly against the skin of my eyelids, forcing them down, swallowing the world around me with darkness. I keep them closed for a moment, even after the pressure of her finger leaves my lids. When they flutter open again, I am alone, the porcelain girl gone. Nothing more left in her place than a small plastic bag. I reach down and pick it up, raising it to my eyes. The fine powder contained within the bag glistens in the moonlight, refracting its rays like a shard of broken glass. The scent of burnt sugar wafts from the bag to my nose in the cool breeze, the same scent I had found when the girl had kissed me. Shoving the baggie into the wool pocket of my coat, I begin to walk home, wondering what the hell had just happened, stopping only occasionally to check my watch, but of course, it was no longer there.
I'm Carter Emery, and through the past day, I had a poem started up. What started off as something much rather more like an asylum ended out completely different. And after I give my poem, I kind of want to reflect on some things from the past. So this is called Gaping Shadows, Death Awaits. You amble down the roads of the neglected slum, finding olden remnants of past hoarders. Gazing at you from far stands a shadow, staring into your red heart with its being black. Your body is stuck to that spot, and then it vanishes down the alley. Your brain tells you to run, but where? Where can you possibly go when the shadow's near? Loud clatters and the cock of several mags. Your body wakes. You are off in a gaze, stomping through the streets. Then it sees you. You halt. There it gazes, with thick, deep, yellow eyes. Sharp beaks follow, its talons bloodstained. It grimaces inside its gullet. The ground changes to quicksand, inescapable. It swoops for you. You take off a burst of adrenaline entering you, body and brain. Suddenly, you are snatched and thrown into a wooden cell house. You are trapped under the red flag of the jagged, tilted cross. Tears drown the cell floor. Your tears. With others beside you, inside the pen, waiting for the call. That sadistic alarm from fiend vultures stalking the outside, around the iron fence. Now you are outside, cold, shivering, terrified, marching, in the strict placement you are assigned to. If changed, blown away, and the rest move on, lifelessly. The moment comes, though you don't realize it. Gas, fire, or water. Which lies behind its door? The door opens. An incinerator lies ahead. You, a harmless human, soon to become ash. You close your eyes, pray to God, pray his senders will come and wipe this hatred clean. But you know, it is inevitable. Then a shot is received. Body and lead meet. And now, hell's furnace.
I'm Abby Swoboda, and through the past couple days I thought it was very interesting seeing the relationship between poetry and prose, and hopefully you'll see that in my story entitled Phobia. It feels like the doorbell ringing, and not knowing who stands behind the door, your hand hovering over the knob, weighing the risk with your curiosity. Then when you finally decide to take the leap, swinging open the door, a greeting sizzling on your lips, no one is there, and you stare out into the ominous navy night, wondering what was standing there only moments ago, filling you with emptiness. That's what it feels like to forget. And that's why I sit here, counting off the world on my fingers. I imagine my home and put myself in it. My name is Marilyn, and I live on 37th Street in a small, cozy apartment. I walk through the halls in my head, remembering where the rooms are, then the pictures that hang on the walls, only distracting myself from the lobby. I don't live there, not anymore. They tell me I'll be back there soon, and that it's not that far away, but I know that I'll be trapped under these fluorescents for the rest of my life. So I keep counting. Index, Thursday the 28th. Middle, knives in the drawer in the kitchen. Ring, my mother's name is Janice. Pinky, white walls in the room. The last one was easy though. Everything is a blinding sterile white here. And finally thumb, breakfast. What did I eat for breakfast? What did I eat? I pull at my thumb, wrenching it back harder and harder. What did I eat? What did I eat? Soon enough, my mind is red, and everything is silent, and I lose control. I'm moving, I'm jumping, I'm yelling, I'm swaying, I'm falling, I'm fading. And soon enough, the shadows loom over top of me, and the red fades to black. How are you feeling, Marilyn? I blink my eyes open, squinting into the blinding light tile above me on the ceiling. Where am I? Who are you? I shoot up in the cushioned reclined sofa, clenching the rubbery fabric in my fists. You're in therapy, Marilyn. You're safe here. His voice is calm and slow, but it only manages in making me more upset. Now lay back down, and I'll help you to remember. I don't lie back down. Remember what? What do I need to remember? Why am I even here? The fire rises in my throat, and I feel the red in my peripherals closing in on my vision again. Why am I here? He answers in his low, soft voice, yet still. I'm here to help you remember, Marilyn, to remember what you did. Yes. My mind suddenly clears, my muscles relaxing a little. Oh, I remember now. I count the memories on my hands, the motion more familiar than walking to me. It was the 28th, a Thursday. I walk into the kitchen, and I got a knife. He nods, scribbling down notes, never breaking eye contact with me. And I killed my mother. I continue ticking off the memories on my fingers. And then I came here. I reach my thumb, and my trance of calmness snaps in two. But what did I have for breakfast? It takes me several minutes, but then it pops into my head. Oatmeal. The word bounces around in my head, echoing through the cavern of my brain, and I break into tears, shaking, sobbing, snapping, remembering. I had oatmeal. It was oatmeal. All these years of being here under the lights, just because I couldn't remember that I'd eaten oatmeal for breakfast. And that is what it feels like to remember. When you realize that no one was ever at the door, and you only imagined it ringing, and you want something to be there that never will be. But you think for sure, in that instant, that you must be right, because how could you not be? It's remembering that reminds you that even emptiness cannot fill your void, and you will never taste that oatmeal again.
Hi, I'm Cameron Danish, and this week I found it interesting to learn more about poetry, because I haven't done that a lot in the past. And so I have two short poems. First one is Nature's Spirit. Sprouting from the pores of the dense, dark dirt, trampled daily but never failing to grow, flexible, still sturdy enough to cushion the heavy footsteps of those who are unaware of the life that pervades beneath them. Shifting from yellow to emerald in spring, plagued by pestilence, drought, flood, darkness, this blanket prevails, defining its prowess. With resounding voice, each strand stands strong. And then the next one is entitled Yesterday. A cake was presented, gleaming with little stars, only to be extinguished by the breath of a little one. They were jubilant, all with mile-wide grins, laughing while I trotted across the room to my bowl. It began a normal car ride, quickly developing into rage. Master yelled, but I acted indifferently, thinking that all would be okay. There was wailing in the back seat as raindrops cascaded from the baby's face. As I was banished, the streetlights raining on my soul, all I knew was darkness. Now in solitude, I travel alone, scavenging, begging for my next meal. What has become of the home, the family I once had? Howling, wondering what went wrong.
Hello, my name is Rachel Rittenhouse, and this week I really enjoyed Professor Walker's assignment for us each day to go sit outside and kind of just silence and read and write, and that's where I thought of most of my inspiration for my poems. I'll be reading two poems. The Closed Book. A shelf coated with a thin layer of dust. On it sits a book that has yet to be touched. This book is closed, set apart, unaware of who or what the world is. She was laughed at because she's different, because she's still closed, safe, protected. Someone comes along and their hand runs along her spine. She's picked up. Tingles of excitement run through her. The front cover is perused. The back cover is read. Then the book is opened. Looking out my window. She's a wildflower, this girl, I observe from the window. She's vibrant but dainty. Her hair is auburn, and the sun turns it into fire. Her skin is like a creamy peach, with freckles sprinkled sporadically. She always wears long skirts. Her shirt comes up high. Her modest ways are catchy. I might give it a try. But I fear there is a secret no one knows. Something she is hiding beneath her rainbow clothes. Her eyes are always clouded, like a thunderstorm at noon. What's her secret? I don't know. Could it be she's all alone, orphaned and frightened? Perhaps she has been beaten by one who wasn't true. Or perhaps her heart has been broken, shattered in two. Maybe I should venture down. Could it be she needs a friend? Someone there to hold her hand and let her play pretend. Perhaps she has been searching for the one who will hold her heart. Maybe I should go and tell her he isn't that far. I look down and see her eyes searching mine. The cloudiness has vanished, and a smile lights her eyes. She extends her hand up to me and shows me what she hides. For my presence has set her free, this wildflower I have spied.
Hi, I'm Halt Pioli, and being at this campus week has kind of reassured that I'm not the only one that still likes to write and read. So here's a poem that I wrote this week. It's called Remnants of a Memory. As the clouds darken and rumble, putting to sleep a beach's perfect day, the sandcastles begin to crumble, and in their place lies a campus, untouched. Though brushed away, the memories still remain. As the tides begin to recede, taking away with flowing waters, the sounds of children's laughter, no more waves to jump or shells to find, the left behind, the memories still remain. As the grins of yesterday's memories fade, to be replaced by the tears of today, the crashing truth of our sorrows, the only found match for a stormy day's waves. And though you're gone, your memory still remains.
Being at this camp, it's been really wonderful to have, companionship with other writers, to be able to talk about my work and other people's work. And it's something you don't get to do every day, just being surrounded by tons of people who all love the same things you do. It's really nice. Now I will read my poem, Night Swimming. Dark but warm, the beach far off as we walk through coffee black water. Firefly campfires flicker beneath the mass of the volcano's monolith. The moon flickers too, behind clouds at its peak. Soles hit sand, some bouncing off springy, spongy stuff, others seeping into suction cup mud. Occasionally, a foot strikes rock, and someone shouts a warning, so others can evade it. Someone always hits it anyway. Hands around ankles. One girl screams from the shark attack, and suddenly everyone's doing it. I join in, despite my mediocre dog paddle, performing the same trick over and over without hope of a treat, just to impress him.